So basically, we're just going to drive around and talk about Jeeps and magazines and stuff. All right, it's time for another Dirt Daily, and I'm still in Moab, and I just picked up my buddy Travis. Travis has a little magazine. It's literally a little magazine. It's called Flatfender Aficionado Monthly. I was wondering this morning if it was monthly or digest.
It's monthly. Not really monthly, but it's pretty close.
Put your seatbelt on or the Jeep will beep at us. Not like an old Flatfender that barely even had seatbelts. So we're going to drive around and shoot a little video and talk about magazines and Jeeps and drink coffee and maybe eat some donuts until, well, basically until I have to leave Moab. Wah, wah, wah. How long have you been living in Moab?
Almost 4 years now.
And you moved here from?
Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri.
And how did you decide that this was the place to go?
I've just been coming out here for, I'd say, over 10 years or so. Going to Jeep Safari and coming out for vacations and stuff. And it's just got everything that we really like to do. It's got the mountains, it's got the river, it's got Red Rock, four-wheeling, everything.
It's a pretty awesome place.
Yeah.
So I've worked in the magazine industry since 2002, and then kind of the magazine industry was dwindling down. There's still a few print publications out there, but not a whole lot. And then all of a sudden you were like, hey, I want to make a magazine about flat fenders?
Pretty much. Sitting around bored of COVID lockdown. It makes you think of all kinds of things, and I thought to myself, hey, let's make some magazines, because people like magazines.
They do. I always said the magazine industry won't die until the generation of people that grew up reading comic books dies.
That's probably true. And that I did. Back when I was little, collecting comic books,
Yeah.
Went from comic books to four-wheel drive and hot rod magazines.
Dude, have a donut.
Love donuts.
Oh, by the way, special thanks to our buddies at Cliffhanger Jeep who let us borrow this Jeep. Sorry about the donut crumbs all over the Jeep. Funny story, Travis used to work there. You probably used to have to vacuum up people that left donut crumbs in the Jeep.
Donut crumbs and everything else, for sure.
Alright, so you decide to do a Flatfender magazine. And how many Flatfenders do you have?
I have 2 right now. Always try to buy another one, but wife says I shouldn't, so.
Wife or life?
Both. Can only take care of so many Flatfenders.
They're definitely...
A lot of people hoard them, but I don't really see the need for myself.
They definitely are going up in value. Like crazy fast.
That's for sure.
You kind of picked the perfect time to do a little Flatfender magazine. And in case you don't know what a Flatfender is, we're talking like Willys Jeeps from 40s up till, when did they make the last Flatfender? 50 something?
Yeah, in the middle. No.
The Defender, those are neat too.
It's a nice Defender. In the 60s, I think it was like 65-ish, they quit making the DJ 3A.
Oh, okay.
So that was the last actual Flatfender.
Was it 2-wheel drive, like a Postal? Or were all DJs, all DJs were 2-wheel drive,
yeah,
right?
They were all 2-wheel drive, yeah. In fact, we had one that was 4-wheel drive converted with its little funky hard top and sliding doors and stuff. That was actually my wife Crystal's Jeep.
Uh-huh.
She loved it quite a bit.
Now, Crystal and you are pretty much the 2 people that do all the heavy lifting on the magazine. But then you have a lot of other guys that kind of pitch in to write stories, and it's kind of tech and trail rides and little history and features. And
yeah, it's everything we can squeeze in there. We try to keep it small so we have content, throughout the year. If we put all the content in one magazine, that's one per year.
Yeah.
So, but
how many issues do you try to do a year?
Well, so far, try to do one every other month, and as life allows it to. And
Yep.
then go from there. So
It's hard to put a magazine out every month.
yeah, it is, especially when you try to live fairly simply and not be over the top with going everywhere across country and other countries and everything else for Jeep adventures. But
Yeah.
which that's fun. Maybe that's the end goal too, but not right now. Not living in Moab.
So, if somebody wants to get in, or either owns a Flatfender, or wants to buy one and get into going to some like Flatfender rides where it's like mostly Flatfender Jeep guys, let's say like 3 different rides would you recommend they look into going on?
Well, definitely where I met everybody that now I consider my close friends was at the Flatfender Fun Run and Easter Jeep Safari.
That's the one that's held every Friday usually?
Yeah, every Friday. Brennan Metcalf puts it on, runs pretty challenging trails to try and surprise people with what the Jeeps can do in either their stock form or modified, whatever. But yeah, that's one of them. And then there's the Fall Colors Tour that the International Flatfender Cup puts on in Colorado every fall.
And is that like kind of more sightseeing Flatfender Jeeping, or is it still some hard wheeling, or
It's
mix
a little
of
bit of both. Yeah, some of the parade guys will do the easier trails, and then a group of hardcore guys will break off and go run some of the more challenging stuff. But there's usually quite a few people. I think they cap it off at like 50 or so, something like that. Try and not let it get too big, but
Yep.
that's definitely a good one.
Yeah, the Friday run in Moab, it's gotten pretty big over the years. We did last year when we did that Dirt Every Day where we built the little red Jeep. I stuck around after we filmed for the week and then went on that Flatfender run. Just about flopped it over on that run, actually.
Yeah, that was a pretty intense trail. We had ran that, me and Brennan and some other guys, Brian Gabriel and some Toyota guys all ran that trail earlier on, and the Toyota guys all blew their front ends up and, the regular thing that they do, and fixed them real quick, like they're used to, and then we went on. But when we decided that was going to be the run, man, that's going to be a tough one on the stalker guys with no lockers and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was. I think we winched up like over 30 people up those obstacles.
Yeah. That was a good day. I'm completely covered in donut crumbs now.
That's okay.
So how do people get your magazine? Is it like a annual subscription, or?
So usually on social media, we'll go around and spam all the Jeep groups and stuff, and have a pre-order where everybody gets their place in line, and they pay ahead of time for their books. That way I'm not out a big substantial amount of money trying to buy 7,000 books that don't sell. So we just make what we sell what we make.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I rarely have any just sitting around. I have some for surprise, people that forget sometimes, but or swing by and see me in person.
And then you guys also have a website?
Yep, we have a website that's pretty much got it, and all of our swag and stuff that we sell too. Try to keep that fairly fresh and full of things people will like,
T-shirts and stickers.
T-shirts, stickers,
Coffee
mugs, all those things. We even have, pet bandanas, the whole everything. So it's a lot of fun for sure.
How do you like new Jeeps compared to old Flatfenders?
They're okay. I'm pretty, I think my Jeep love stops around the 04 TJ models and LJs, but all the newer stuff's got too much electric things for it.
They are more complicated, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like the more analog driving experience.
I have 4 Flatfenders right now. And then I have like my big summer camp Jeep, which I don't know if that really even counts because it's kind of a little bit of everything hot rod. And not really any original Flatfender part on it.
I think to us, me and my close friends, that still counts. We're not purists, you know, like there's the different little groups that have kind of, you know, got together, little cliques, if you will, like the Go Devil Run guys. You know, you can't have, you know, anything other than a Go Devil and carbureted, blah, blah, blah.
Which I completely appreciate too. I think it's neat that
absolutely
they're trying to like have, like basically show people what the Jeeps will do without all of the stuff that.
Right.
But I also appreciate like nice shocks and power steering when you're turning bigger tires.
Absolutely.
But when it's like on stock size tires, it kind of makes sense. You have the stock motor, you have the stock size tires, you can get away with stock shocks and manual steering.
Sure. Yeah, one of my friends, Mike Lee Austin, has an awesome, you know, CJ2A, and that thing is, you know, fully built, 1 tons with linked coilovers and everything. You know, it's still a Flatfender body, you know, it's just everything else is kind of tweaked on it.
So that's kind of neat about your magazine, is that you're not like a purist restoration magazine. You kind of touch on all of it.
Yeah, we like people that actually get out and use their Jeeps for, you know, more than just ice cream runs or, you know, the 4th of July parade. Because there is that stuff, and there's also publications that cover that kind of crowd's interests, and that's fine too. But, you know, I daily drive mine every day. That's my car, you know, so that's my commuter. I put miles on it constantly, so I like to be in tune with the people that do the same thing, which there are a few other crazies out there that do the same thing and drive theirs every day, but
oh yeah,
it's fairly rare.
Well, when you kind of like, when you get them running good, they're pretty simple car, and in the wintertime you put a hard top on it or a soft top and put a heater in it, and in the summertime you take all that stuff off and park it in the corner. And
the way I look at it, if you drive it every day, it makes yours more reliable off-road, and you don't have it, you know, breaking down with vapor lock and, you know, wheel bearings blowing out on the trail and stuff and causing a big problem.
It's really not a whole lot different than probably riding a motorcycle every day.
Right.
Like, because you're basically out in the world.
Absolutely. Barely
everything's blowing by you.
Barely any metal around you. Absolutely.
So what flat fender are you still looking for?
I myself would love to have an original paint, early model 2A probably, and then, you know, just do all the stock stuff to it. I have a pretty stock CJ3B, but at the same time it's pretty ratty, and I hate to, you know, mess with it much anymore. So instead of fixing it up, I'd rather just start out fresh with a stocker.
Yeah, they're getting harder to find. It seems like it's easier to find one that somebody has swapped a V8 into or changed in some way.
Absolutely.
But you also don't really hear about a lot of guys pulling those engines out to put Go Devils in.
No.
Like if you have a Go Devil in it, you keep it nowadays. But if you get one that doesn't have a Go Devil, it doesn't seem to get a Go Devil stuff
right
into it.
And I did that. I took a 283 V8 out of my trail Jeep, and it had a, you know, it was built for sand dunes and going fast. I put a 153 Chevy with a T18 in it because that's way better for the way I drive here in Moab off-road.
Yep.
You know, the sand blasts were fun, but that's few and far between in my life, so
yeah.
I needed something to control it, you know, crawling ledges and stuff a lot better, so. And it does, and it gets 18 miles a gallon, so when I'm daily driving it, it's not breaking the bank, having to put gas in it all the time, so.
It also seems like the little diesel swaps are huge these days with flat fender guys.
Oh yeah.
Like Kubotas.
Yep, TDI, Volkswagen motors.
A couple guys putting flatty bodies on Roxor chassis.
That's a fantastic swap.
Yeah.
Everybody bitches about the CJ-ish body, you know, of the Roxor that just doesn't really fit. But you cut down the frame a little bit and put a flat fender body on them, and they're ready to go.
Yes.
30 miles a gallon, drive 75 miles an hour down the road. Dana 44s, how can you go wrong?
Yeah, all the things that, like, love them or hate them, like Roxor kind of fixed all the problems of early CJs.
Absolutely.
And they made a really cool truck out of them. They just came out with the new version, which I haven't gotten to drive one yet, but I'm really excited to check that out once those are out and running around.
Yeah, those are definitely good. I'm glad they see that come back and not get totally squashed by Jeep brand.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Jeep brand's got lawyers that want to protect their identity, but it's also like
Sure.
kind of feels like they're in a different ball game when the Roxors aren't even street legal.
Yeah, I don't think they've really lost a whole lot of customers over the Roxor. They were going to be more of a, UTV buyer anyway.
So riddle me this. What if Jeep came out with a UTV?
I guess that all have to depend on, what it really consisted of, for sure.
Do you think it would be more like Roxor-ish or more Razor Can-Am-ish?
I think they would probably go the route of the Razor Can-Am UTV, just because that's a proven concept.
Yeah.
A lot of people love that. They ride really nice. They're really cushy. They're easy to use. So they're very user-friendly.
Yeah, it's funny because Jeep, has solid axles under Wranglers and Gladiators, but then they also have full independent under Grand Cherokees and Grand Wagoneers.
Right.
So they kind of have messed on both sides. And I was actually out here in Moab a couple weeks ago driving the new Grand Cherokee, and I mean, I don't think it's a Wrangler, but it's definitely pretty capable.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It rides nice and it does all the thing that Grand Cherokee owners want. But I had heard rumors and people speculating that Jeep would make a side-by-side because the side-by-side market is huge.
Yeah.
But then it's a question of, well, would they make a side-by-side and would it be street legal or would it just be off-road use only like all the other ones? Or I mean, I'm all for a tiny Wrangler or a new CJ that was small and capable but also street legal.
Absolutely. I mean, they had the cool little stripped down concept, a few years ago, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's basically a shorter wheelbase and lightweight model being kicked around, and I think that would have done really well. Especially for people like me that doesn't, if it didn't have all the electronic gizmos and the traction controls and the, stability control and all that, because I don't want any of that, so.
Plus, there's a huge market for, tiny cars and tiny homes and small, simplified lifestyles, and I think that could be a product that people would still buy into. Especially when brand new Wranglers are $50,000-$60,000, it's you're hoping that they would come back with a $28,000 Wrangler that, even though it might be a stripped down, smaller version,
right,
it could still be something that would be fuel efficient and fun.
Yeah, waterproof seats and no top right from the showroom floor. Yep.
This sounds like a good article for the Flatfender Aficionado Monthly, where you speculate what a new Wrangler Flatty would look like or be like.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we've kind of beaten the Flatfender magazine around. I think it's great that you came out with something. I hope that it lasts a long time. I hope people find it and go to your website. What's the website again?
It's real simple, flatfendering.com with 3 W's at the beginning.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And sign up, read about it. They always have cool stuff in there, cool features, cool adventures, lots of cool tech.
New parts that all my friends put out.
Yeah.
Flatfender specific.
Yeah. And if big companies want to be a part of it, get a hold of Travis. He's going to need an advertiser before too long. That's it for this Dirt Daily. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one.